good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time zone you were in, and welcome to SCP Research! Yay! Yay, 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 yay. We are back. I know that it has been some time since we did an SCP Research stream, but now we are back during our little SCP Week event. Very, very glad to be doing this with you guys. We are going to pick up from the super chats that we left off on during the last SCP Research stream, which our friend Kat in chat very, very nicely put together a little list for us. This list includes the SCPs we've already looked at, and also SCPs that have been mentioned in super chats and donations that have yet to be looked into. So we're gonna cover those first today, and if we still have enough time, we will look at chat suggestions. But for now, these are the SCPs that we will be looking at today. Yeah. Thank you, Kat! Everyone say thank you, Kat! Hello, everyone! I was able to cook lunch right after the FNAF gorilla today. Do keep in mind, some of the super chat ones might have been weight or lengthy. I see. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Fox. I see, so we're even doing this to our chat people now. Our regulars, I see. Alright, well, what if we started from the bottom? I'll start from the bottom today. For those of you that don't know what this this little stream series is, basically, we will be learning about SCPs today. We will be going over entries submitted by people that have said that I mentioned them in chat or have super chatted. So yeah, we're gonna start from 5955 today, I think. Let's start. Also, I apologize if my horse is, if my voice is just a teeny bit hoarse today. What? Why isn't it not working? Weird. But I was recording earlier, and so my voice is kind of Okay. Fool's Errand. Okay, let's start with 5955. Okay, here we go. Object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. Due to the size and physical properties of SCP-5955, complete containment has been deemed impossible. But partial physical containment is being upheld. To that end, a loose perimeter has been set up around SCP-5955 using buoys? On the night of July 3rd, from 20 hours to 5 hours, the lights of the establishment on the Atlantic City Boardwalk are to remain off in order to avoid degrading 59551 instances. Oceanic Task Force Delta 7 Bay Watchers are to deter any civilian ships away from the mass of SCP-5955 and supply with standard cover story 51 in sense of weather. Let's see. OTF Delta 7 are to guide SCP-59551 instances away from the coast of Atlantic City, New Jersey to ensure civilian safety. Efforts to repurpose SCP-59551 instances for Foundation use are currently underway. For the remainder of the year, SCP-5955 must be fed 2,000 kilograms of plastic, styrofoam, discarded fishing gear, and other refuse every 2 weeks. Wow, it's helping the environment! Any notable shrinkage in SCP-5955's mass is to be reported to the Site-45 director depending on the amount of mass lost. Anywhere from 1 to 4 additional unmanned trash boats are to be set on a collision course with the area SCP-5955 resides. Recovery of these boats should be performed if possible. 2 Scranton Reality Anchors SRAs are to remain on opposite sides of SCP-5955's perimeter to disable SCP-5955's anomalous magnetism and to ensure anomalous weather behavior does not occur. SCP-5955 must weigh at least 4 tons to ensure its primary ability properly disables. If SCP-5955 weighs any less than 4 tons at any time, its primary ability will re-enable regardless of SRA presence. Description. SCP-5955 is a large sphere composed of human flesh. For the majority of the year, SCP-5955 remains hidden underwater. Despite this, SCP-5955 attracts refuse within a radius of about 30 meters to itself, suctioning the collected waste underwater. Each year on July 3rd from 20 hours to 5 hours UCT, SCP-5955 will rise from beneath the water, remaining stationary in the air. During this period, a collection of autonomous mechanisms composed of various waste materials designated SCP-59551 will emerge from SCP-5955. SCP-59551 instances vary in appearance, although all instances to date appear to resemble different wildfire native to Atlantic City. A list of specific SCP-59551 instances is available upon request. After emergence, SCP-59551 instances begin to roam the coast within 150 kilometers of Atlantic City and collect foreign materials from the surrounding area. In the presence of artificial light, SCP-5955 instances will begin to rapidly degrade. This causes SCP-5955 to produce instances at a rapid rate and expand its magnetism to 100 meters. Before SCP-59551 instances return to SCP-5955, at least one will use collected refuse to spell out a message on the boardwalk. After SCP-5951 instances complete refuse collection at 4:55, they will transport discovered materials beneath SCP-5955. SCP-5955 will then absorb collected refuse in SCP-5955 and resubmerge beneath the ocean surface. Addendum: SCP-5955 yearly behavior. The following records notable behavior during 5955's year of activity. 1 second. It's 1975, first year of activity. The turtles appreciate your effort. Please pick this up now. Aw, whoa. 1986. Discharges a small amount of mucus. Trash is icky. Please pick this up now. 1990. Interior appears slightly swelled. I want the beaches pretty. Please pick this up now. 1994. Epidermis gains a few dry rashes. Fishies want your help. Please pick this up now. Posterior appears slightly swelled. Cigarettes are gross. Please pick this up now. All of the previous changes to 5955 are not present. Thanks to those who keep the beaches pretty. Discharges a significant amount of mucus. Please help! The ocean needs you! Epidermis appears pale. The garbage is icky. A small collection of blisters forms on 5955's posterior. SCP-5955 is slightly smaller than normal. Its size returns when supplied with additional refuse by Delta 7 operatives. Thanks for helping me with the trash. I thought you gave up! 5955's epidermis is dry and cracked. The ocean needs you! Epidermis is pale red. 59551 instance production doubles. The ocean needs you, please. Oh, it's not using exclamation marks anymore. Epidermis is pale green. Why can't you help? Epidermis is swelled, emits a putrid odor. Do you not like me? I just want to help. Oh no. 5955 begins to undergo putrefaction and its magnetism disables. Your help is needed. Appears unchanged. It produces a notably smaller amount. Please help. 5955 is now significantly smaller. Its size does not grow when supplied with additional refuse. While it absorbs the collected refuse, pieces of the collection fall out of 5955. Please. 5955 produces approximately a dozen 59551 instances. Please. Unable to absorb the collected trash. Please. 5955 does not produce 59551. It remains stationary in the air. Not available. Wait, this is so sad! 5955 has not re-emerged, nor shown any signs of activity. Reclassification to neutralize is pending. This is so sad! We killed it! I'm so sad! Global warming! Sorry, I accidentally hit my microphone. This is so sad. This is sad! We always ruining everything. What the heck? This is so sad. Man. Humans are the real monsters. My day is now ruined. Alright, what's next? 5031. Okay, we're going to 5031. 5031. Yet another murder monster. To be honest, Atlantic City was the wrong place to settle. Oh, what is this? File under review. This document has been flagged for possible methodological issues. Please be aware that the following information is subject to change and may contain inaccuracies. SCP-5031, Cater, Special Containment Procedures. This is to be contained in an airtight iron cell in Biosite 59. A structure must be inspected for imperfections on a bi-weekly basis. No other interaction necessary. Description: 5031 is a non-sapient quasi-humanoid creature of unknown origin. When directly observed, 5031 will temporarily cease to exist until the viewer stops observing the space that 5031 formerly occupied. Traces of its existence, scratch marks, blood trails, continue to exist when 5031 does not. Video and photography devices do not capture 5031's appearance. However, observing 5031's shadow does not cause cessation of existence, allowing certain physiological traits to be inferred from its silhouette. Schrodinger's SCP. Abnormally small head with no discernible neck. Elbows branch into 3 sets of lower arms each. Elongated torso approximately 1.9 meters in length. Pelvis terminates in a crescent-shaped protrusion of osseous tissue with a blade-like lower edge. Levitates above the ground at a fixed height of 0.5 meters. SCP-5031 has no nutritional needs. It will nevertheless hunt and consume any human or animal it encounters by using its pendulous lower body to down targets. It does not sleep and is incapable of expression or verbal communication. I see. Okay. Addendum. As of Valentine's Day 2018, senior researcher Stanley Huxtable is now acting in the role of HCL supervisor for SCP-5031. The following is a selection of relevant correspondences from SR Huxtable to site director Yusuf Mustafi, elucidating research progress. Initial impressions. I have no idea who wrote this, but there's a lot I'd like to say to them. I'm not a fan of abandoning a living creature inside a metal box for 10 years, no matter how pragmatic it may be. It's difficult to fathom that such things were considered the norm a decade ago. Have you ever heard something scream from behind 10 inches of iron for hours on end? When I do my redraft, remind me to add anomalous resistance to hoarseness. Somewhere in the description. Could you work your magic and get the boys to retrofit the containment cube with an aperture and security vestibule? I'd like to run some tests that require exposing 5031 to certain stimuli. Alpine, thank you so much for being a member for 8 months, and thank you for the head pats. I really appreciate it. Teehee. Hey, Shiki, try SCP-2718. Sorry, we have a list. We have a backlog. We're at 5031. We're gonna go up this way. Up this way. So I can't take any requests right now. Let's see. Round 1 test sound. Okay, hold on. Okay. Sound summary. Forward, installed speakers in the containment vestibule and played various albums of natural ambience and popular music. 5031's propensity for screaming worked as a convenient way to measure its stress levels. 100% would be considered its typical screaming, volume and duration over 48 hours, and 0% would be no screaming at all. Morning forest ambience, 43%. Seaside paradise ambience, 48%. Deep grotto ambience, 62%. The best of Mozart, 13%. The best of Enya, 18%. The best of Benfold, 6%. The best of Jethro, 59%. The best of Kiss is 23%. Afterward, efficacy of music for stress reduction gradually decreases over time. I've assembled a playlist of 5031's favorite music to play on shuffle in its enclosure in perpetuity. Stress levels consistently remain in the 15 to 25% range, baseline adjusted accordingly. Test play. Summary. Throw softball into enclosure. Slice the ball in two. Toss basketball into enclosure. Slice the ball open. Roll bowling ball into enclosure. Scratch a couple of grooves into the ball, then roll the ball around the enclosure with the blunt end of its tail for 20 minutes. Stress level remains 60% after play. Rolled another bowling ball into enclosure. Use the blunt end of its tail to hit the ball together for a while. Stress levels remain 40% after play. Bowling ball chipped and would no longer roll properly unplanned. Stress levels increased to 115%. Replacement bowling ball provided. Stress levels fell back to 40%. And tossed a basketball into enclosure. Picked up and played with the ball. Stress levels remain 20% after play. 5031 began to use its hands to play with the basketball, possibly to avoid accidentally damaging it. Motor skills comparable to that of a toddler. SCP-5031 still prefers bowling ball for kicking. Test food. 5031 was given the choice between two potential food sources placed at opposite ends of the enclosure. Human corpse, pig carcass, it picked the pig carcass. Pig carcass and chicken carcass, it picked the pig. Pig carcass and rotisserie chicken, it picked the rotisserie chicken. It picked the rotisserie chicken. And it picked the rotisserie chicken. And it did not like the roasted turkey or the rotisserie chicken. Neither presumed stated. I see. How did they quantify its stress? Who knows? Who knows? I sure love kicking bowling balls. Pickle pig. While it's true that SCP-5031 doesn't necessarily need to eat, feeding it regularly has caused a marked decrease in average stress levels. Stress reduction seems to scale proportionally with the quality of food provided. Also of note is that SCP-5031 prefers to use its tail to pry and cut meat into bite-sized portions rather than rip the meat into chunks with its teeth or hands. Oh, stress equals screaming. Okay. Now it makes sense. Now, yeah. Test coexistence summary. 5031 fed until sated live subject common chicken introduced to enclosure. 5031 observed subject from a distance for several minutes and then rolled a bowling ball towards subject at high speed. Subject was killed instantly. 5031 stress levels rose immediately and drastically. Test 2. Bowling balls removed from enclosure. 5031 fed until sated. Live subject common chicken introduced to enclosure. 5031 gently rolled a basketball towards subject. Ball hit subject lightly. Subject responded with a small cry and moved away. 5031 did not engage with subject any further. 5031 fed until sated. Live subject class D. Blindfolded, introduced to enclosure, and instructed to sit and roll basketball forward, then wait until it came back and rolled it away. Subject in 5031 successfully rolled the ball back and forth for several minutes. 5031 eventually abandoned the activity and approached subject. Per safety protocol, subject removed their blindfold to terminate the activity. I see. 5031 fed until sated. Live subject class D introduced to the enclosure and instructed to toss a tennis ball at the wall. Let it ricochet behind them, then catch and repeat. 5031 stood behind subject and successfully engaged in game of catch. Aw! Mimicking subject's actions of letting ball ricochet against the wall. Aw, that's cute. 5031's motor skills appeared to be rapidly improving. Test symbol summary. 5 LCD displays were fitted into the wall of 5031's enclosure, each with a lit button and a food dispenser underneath. 2 stations activated. Screen 1 displayed the image of a rock. Its button dispensed rocks. Screen 2 displayed the image of a rotisserie chicken. Its button dispensed pieces of chicken. 5031 poked at the image of a chicken for a few minutes and eventually hit the button. Chicken was dispensed and 5031 was satisfied. Screen displays and materials dispensed were swapped. 5031 hit the button it had hit the previous day and received a rock. It then went to the other screen and hit the button to dispense chicken. This is kind of cute! Screen displays and materials dispensed were swapped back to their original position and set to swap again at random intervals after first distribution. 5031 went directly to the button next to the image of a chicken, experienced apparent confusion after the first mid-distribution swap, but quickly learned to watch the images. 3 more station screens, buttons, dispensers were activated. 4 stations displayed the word rock and dispensed rocks. 1 station displayed the word chicken and dispensed chicken. Arrangement set to change randomly several times over the following days. Through trial and error, SCP-5031 determined which station dispensed chicken. SCP-5031 subsequently went to the station marked chicken whenever displays were swapped. All stations deactivated except one. Screen displayed the word chicken. 7 wood blocks were set in front of the station, each marked with one of the letters in the word chicken. The station's button was set to remain unlit and inactive until the blocks were arranged in the correct order. 5031 expressed apparent frustration, hitting the inactive button repeatedly and striking the wall with its tail. Same as previous tests, but screen displayed the word chicken with each letter overlaid on a button on a photo of a wood block. After 12 minutes, SCP-5031 successfully assembled the word chicken. Afterward, it can learn language usage. Round 6 test, vocabulary, results. 5031 has learned to use letter blocks to form the following words: chicken, turkey, pork, tofu, beef, bread, more salt, more pepper, more cooked. Music, Mozart, Enya, Ben Folds, Forest, Seaside, White Noise, more volume, less volume, silence. Play, basketball, bowling ball, tennis ball, cat, dog, human, Robert, Stanley, alone. Through its increased vocabulary and human interaction, SCP-5031 has made the following progress. Establish food preferences and dish pairings. Learn to sing non-verbally. Aww! Learn to juggle. Six-handed juggling is something to behold. Aww! That's so cute. All parfait. Operational guidebook. Thank you so much for joining Kibblebits. Enjoy your acapellas, emotes, and members-only streams. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Round 7 test activity summary. Introduce table, paper, and crayons into the enclosure. Live subject D52125. Instructed to demonstrate drawings for 5031. 5031 learned to draw discernible subjects depicted in its artworks included 52125 and 5031, a rotisserie chicken, a cat, and myself. Wait, that's so cute! Oh my god. Introduce piano into the enclosure. Live subject 52125. Instructed to play chopsticks blindfolded and invite 5031 to play along. Subject had time to practice beforehand. 5031 learned chopsticks in 2 days, though it appeared more interested in making its own original music complete with vocals. Wait, that's so cute! These compositions might be considered crude by human standards. Oh my god! Introduce spice rack into the enclosure. Live subject 52125. Instructed to demonstrate seasoning meats. 5031 spent almost 3 straight days experimenting with different combinations of foods and spices. Assembled the words more, more, more with its letter blocks after running out of garlic powder. Oh! 5031 only engages with art and music when accompanied by D52125, but it continues to be preoccupied with food preparation even when alone. Round 8 tests, cooking results, basic kitchen utilities installed in enclosure. Live subject D52125. Instructed to demonstrate preparations of various recipes. Recipes learned! Quesadilla, taco, hamburger, fried rice, Mongolian beef, spicy chicken curry, chocolate chip cookies, sponge cake with buttercream, fudge, clam chowder, steak, macaroons, chicken adobo, smoked salmon, and profiterole? What is that? I've never heard of that. I made fried rice today. Aw. 5031 has a severe peanut allergy. This should be included in the revised containment procedures. I would also like to note that 5031 is now a better chef than the average human, and it has begun to create its own recipes. 52125 has volunteered to taste test. Oh my god, that's so cute and sweet. 5031 has said its first word. Salt! We are all immensely proud. I'm proud of it. Oh my god. I love him. Final test was given 2 months to develop a 3-course meal to serve at the BioSite 59 cafeteria for personnel working over Thanksgiving. Its selections were as follows: sweet potato turmeric miso soup, duck confit with apple cider glaze and cranberry compote topping, paired with butternut squash gnocchi on a bed of kale seasoned with truffle salt, a slice of spiced cassava pie topped with French vanilla ice cream and a maple hazelnut syrup. 5031 also debuted its original composition, Piano Sonata for 6 Hands, in a live performance broadcast from its enclosure. Personnel response was overwhelmingly positive. 5031 stress levels at 0%. Testing successfully concluded. Revised documentation submitted for approval. Footnotes, presumably for extra digestive capacity, D52125. Sharp implements withheld per security protocol. 5031 used its tail to cut food. This is so cute! I'm so glad it didn't end up sad! I love him! What? I love him! I would die for you, 5031. You're so sweet! Oh my god! It's so sweet. I'm so soft and warm and happy. I love him. What a good little baby. Little baby man, little baby wavy man, little baby man. Yeah, little baby man, as you would say, right as you said that. Now for 5 depressing ones, yay! Sorry, I hit my microphone. Oh my god, I love him. That's so sweet. I'm so soft. I'm so soft. Aw. Now we go here. We're at $49.99 now. Someone to watch over us. Okay. I'm gonna eat a little bit of my fruit roll-up first. The true horror of this SCP is what could have happened had other SCPs been treated well. Oh my god. Bah. Shout out to senior researcher Stanley Huxtable for showing compassion to our little baby man. Exactly! $9.99 and $50.31 should have a play date. Have you read SCP-1230? Have we? Let me check. It doesn't look like we have. It doesn't look like we have, according to this list. When an SCP is a better son than me. SCP's nuts got him. Wow. Hello, Rainy. Hello. Welcome. Yet another murder monster. Okay. Let's get started. $49.99. Level 3 confidential. A risk class. Notice. Containment class cater. Special containment procedures due to SCP-4999. Unwillingness or inability to appear before more than one person at a time, in addition to the subsequent and immediate death of anyone who witnessed it firsthand. 4999 is effectively self-containing. Any reports of SCP-4999 manifestations captured by security camera feeds, photographs, or similar are to be investigated, and the media confiscated for analysis. All secondhand witnesses among the civilian populace are to be amnesticized. 499 circa 4999. Circa 1973, photo taken by professional photographer Gustav Berger 3 minutes before his death. Wow, look at it. Hold on, I noted that it went away. Okay. Wow, it's a stud. 4999 is a humanoid entity of unknown origins and composition. Its physical appearance varies, with dark formal wear being the only constant between manifestations. Due to the rarity of recorded 4999 manifestations events and the highly specified circumstances in which they occur, little data concerning its nature or intent is available. However, its behavior is consistent across all recorded sightings. 4999 will manifest only in the presence of one solitary human person at a time. All subjects recorded to date have been in terminally poor health, critically injured, or on their deathbeds, with 4999 appearing nearby and within sight of the individual not more than 20 minutes before their expiration. Oh, their expiration, that's so sad. 4999 will only appear if the subject is conscious and alone. It will not appear if the subject is comatose, asleep, or unconscious, nor will it appear if they are being cared for by, in the company of, or otherwise being directly observed by another person. Upon manifestation, the entity will seat itself directly adjacent to the subject's bed if such furniture is available. If not, it will remain standing or sit on the floor/ground in whatever configuration will allow it direct physical access to the subject without causing disturbance. Once situated, it will remove a pack of cigarettes from its left inside jacket pocket and offer one to the subject. If the subject accepts, 4999 will place it between their lips, remove one for itself, and light both. If the subject declines, 4999 will light and smoke the cigarette instead. The entity will make physical contact with the subject, typically via holding their hand, placing its hand atop theirs, or resting its hand on their shoulder. $49.99 will then remain with the subject silent and unmoving until they passed away. $49.99 has not been seen to engage in any other activity or behavior and demanifest immediately upon the subject's death. The subject's cigarette, however, will remain, providing the only physical evidence of $49.99's presence. No subject thus far has been seen to recoil from or otherwise resist the entity, nor have any attempt to engage it in conversation despite multiple instances of subjects acknowledging the entity's presence via eye contact. Adjusting posture to reciprocate or facilitate the entity's touch, breaking into tears when noticing its presence, or verbally thanking the entity when offered a cigarette. Individuals affected by $49.99 share a number of common attributes. Research into identified subjects has indicated that $49.99 is more likely to appear if an individual lives alone, is non-religious, is impoverished or homeless, displays a history of mental illness, is a military veteran, has no criminal record or has been convicted of a violent crime, has no currently surviving family, is unmarried or otherwise lacks a significant other, has little to no social standing in their community, does not exhibit any record of significant professional or personal accomplishments, has few to no mutually beneficial interpersonal relationships, or exhibits qualities in life history that have rendered the individual nondescript, anonymous, neglected, or otherwise unremarkable or insignificant by the standards of their respective society. No testing involving $49.99 has been authorized or attempted due to available data indicating the observation of a subject precludes its manifestation as well as ethical concerns. Discovery $49.99 was initially discovered as the result of its emerging status as an urban legend, with the footage of the entity appearing on hospital security cameras worldwide being disseminated via the internet and various television programs. A minor disinformation program was put into effect to maintain its public image, and $49.99 was officially registered on November 27, 1998. In the years following $49.99's classification, additional research and cross-referencing with accounts of similar phenomena have suggested that while concrete evidence of $49.99 appearances has become more commonplace due to the advent of photography and video recording technology in the modern era, writings and artistic depictions of a figure exhibiting similar properties, behavior, and physical resemblance to $49.99 exist throughout world history, culture, and mythology, with some accounts being thousands of years old, in some cases predating human civilization. It is not currently understood how pre-modern cultures would have been capable of detecting $49.99's presence. Investigation is ongoing. Oh man. Ooh, this guy has written several SCPs. This is so sad. Whoa. That was my alarm. So he's death? That's what I'm getting. That's what he's basically like the Grim Reaper. My man's the Grim Reaper. Man. This isn't a little baby man. This is a big manly man. This is a Chad. A Giga Chad. Oh man. I hope I see him when it's my time. Or an angel, that's true. Man. He's a good boy. He's the first and final Chad. Wow. He's a friendly ghost. A friendly little baby man. Friendly little baby man. I'm gonna eat more of my fruit roll up. What a nice bro, right? Oh. And he will appear when the last person on Earth dies who will watch over him. Oh no, I'm sad. Let's see. We're like... Okay, we're at 3,300. The rain. Oh wow, this is really long. Well, this is really long. Okay, let's warm up for a bit. Let me eat a little bit. Let me finish my fruit roll-up before we get into this. Ah. I ran out of Pringles. I ate all of them yesterday. Ah. Okay. Okay, here we go. SCP-3300. Euclid. Containment of 3300 is focused on observation and ensuring it does not spread from the affected area. A mobile observation post has been set up 5 kilometers outside the town of Clearwater, Montana. For this purpose, attempts at manned exploration of 3300 events are currently suspended. When 3300 events begin, the observation team will fall back to a point 10 kilometers from the town border and continue observation. Any unusual activity is to be noted. Any attempts made by outsiders to enter or exit the area will be halted. Non-lethal force is authorized for this purpose. Instances of 3301 attempting to leave Clearwater will be detained and interviewed under the pretense of a police search. Following this, they will be allowed to continue their travel under Foundation observation. All personnel involved in the containment of 3300 are prescribed a weekly dose of Class Y amnestics. SCP-3300 is an annual event in which the populace of Clearwater, Montana disappears and is replaced by a new set of citizens. Huh. 3300 event typically occurs in the mid-portion of June and lasts 6 to 18 days. The first 48 hours of each event are marked by a light continuous rain over the entire city. The rain is stationary and appears regardless of the weather in the surrounding area. This portion of the event ends when the rain transitions to a severe thunderstorm lasting for the remaining duration of 3300. The interior of 3300 event past this point has never been observed. Any failure to even enter the phenomena several times, personnel entering SCP-3300 have emerged instantaneously on the other side. When the 3300 event ends, all previous 3301 instances will have been replaced by new iterations with completely new appearances, personalities, and memories. Beyond remarking on the unusually severe nature of the storm, new instances show no recollection of the event. Instances of 3301 behave identically to baseline human beings. However, no record of any instance prior to their appearance from a 3300 event exists. Instances will occasionally share names, professions, certain memories, and broad personality traits with those from previous iterations of 3300. However, no 3301 instance has been observed repeating from previous events. 3301 instances are unaware of their anomalous nature and the circumstances surrounding their existence. Physical and post-mortem examinations reveal no differences from baseline humans. Instances of 3301 outside of the town where 3300 occurs will disappear several days after the event begins. All attempts to observe the disappearance have failed. 3300 is accompanied by a moderate cognitohazardous effect. Outside citizens learn about the existence of the town of Clearwater, or its citizens will give little thought to them unless the subject is brought to their direct attention. This effect affects focus rather than memory. Those affected do not forget that Clearwater exists, but rather show difficulty paying attention to it. Outside citizens familiar with disappeared instances of 3300 will not comment on their absence unless reminded, and even then show little concern. The history of 3300 is unknown. Records of its existence go back to the beginning of the Foundation. Despite this, almost no progress has been made in attempts to research the phenomena. Addendum: the following journal was recovered in the aftermath of 3300 event ending on the 30th of June 1995 and represents one of the few descriptions of what occurs during the phenomena. The writer of the document has been identified as 3300 1995 4307, aka Margaret Lane. The events described in the journal are unverified. Attempts to automatically observe the interior of SCP-3300 event are still underway. Okay, here we go. Hey, if Kurt Cobain kept a journal, it can't be that bad of an idea, right? Help express my artistic side of something. Finally get all the writings I wanted to done. I don't know. Mom said it might be a good way for me to focus things, which means she just wants an easy way to snoop and make sure I'm staying clean. Joke's on her, though, if she ever thinks she's gonna be able to find this. Still, I guess it could be nice to have something to look back on. Hopefully to remind myself that things get better. There's a dream I've been having, which is weird because I don't usually remember my dreams, but I've had this one like 3 times in the past week. In it, I'm not myself. I'm in a small hut, standing above the bed where my daughter lies. Her skin is red, blotchy, hot. I'm praying that the disease won't take her, praying that she will recover, or that this is some other sickness. It's no use, I know. The corpse of my husband won't let me forget. Another of the healthy... A boy who thinks himself a man calls us together. The few that remain, I gaze around the room and see the same expression on their faces that I feel in my heart. All except the boy's. He grins as we enter and gestures to the bowl of water in front of him. I have found it, he says. The key to our salvation. And then it ends, right? Weird, right? No idea what to make of it. Anyway, I'm heading to Sam, so this'll be it for the day. Gray clouds on the horizon, we need the rain. I can't remember what the sun looks like. Ha, joking. But it's been drizzling for 3 days, and it doesn't look like it's gonna let up soon. Phones are patchy as hell too. Radio says we can expect the weather to continue for at least a week. David tried to come earlier today, and I told him to fuck right back off to the ditch he crawled out of. That I didn't care how good the shit he'd gotten his hands on was. He did this whole kick puppy dog routine, but eventually left before Mom noticed, thank God. The rain's kind of relaxing, actually. It's got a rhythm to it. I can get used to this. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Okay, there we go. I don't think it's ever stormed this hard in my life. It's 2 in the afternoon, but looking outside, you'd swear it was midnight. My throat is starting to get sore from shouting over the noise. I have no idea what the hell happened. 1 minute it was drizzling, the next someone flipped a switch to dump the entire Pacific Ocean onto our heads. Internet and phone are completely down. The few seconds of clear radio we can get is just a barrage of tornado and flood warnings. Nothing to do but hole up inside and see how many games of Monopoly we can play until Mom kills me or I kill myself. I swear some of the people in this town must be absolutely insane, because sometimes when lightning flashes I can see them walking around outside, some of them just standing there. I'm writing this from the back of Jared's van, and we're going like 80 miles an hour down the highway, and Isabel's crying next to me, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. I think I'm going to die. I'm going to keep writing though. My hand shakes less when I write. It could have been more than an hour ago that this happened. We were all at my place. Sam, Jared, Mike, and Isabel had all come over. I hadn't expected them, but Jared insisted he wasn't going to let something tiny like a biblical flood stop us from exploring the bottom levels of the Dread Lake Arsganastimane. Stupid. I don't get it. So we rolled up and started playing like everything was normal. Sam DMing with a stupid little monster accent she does. Isabel and Mike arguing over every scrap of treasure and possible trap we came across. Jared struggling to just to keep us all from killing each other. Mom in the other room pretending she wasn't listening in. It was Isabel who first noticed the banging on the door, like someone trying to break it down. At first we weren't sure what to do. I mean, anyone banging that hard on your door so late is going to be suspicious. Even if there's not a fucking hurricane outside, right? So we just sort of sat there staring at each other until Jared got up and grabbed a poker from the fireplace and went to check the people. I wonder what his first thought was. Surprise? Confusion? Did he just accept it? Like I did, too stunned by the weirdness to question when he opened the door and saw a family on our porch. A mom, dad, 2 kids. I'd never seen any of them before. For a second, we all just stared at each other, and then the dad shoved past Jared and said, "Why are you in my house?" Mom had come out of her room when she first heard knocking. When the guy said that, she flipped out instantly. "What do you mean your house, asshole?" "This is my house." What the hell are you doing just barging in here? I swear to God, you've got 10 seconds before I get the cops over here. God, I remember being annoyed, embarrassed, wishing she wouldn't flip out over everything. The dad's expression didn't change. He stepped forward again, and Jared tried to hold him back. When he did, the dad just flung him. Snagged Jared by the collar and tossed him through the living room into the kitchen. Jared smacked into a counter and went limp. And the dad said again, in the exact tone, "Why are you in my house?" That was when Mom charged him with a golf club. He barely had time to react before she swung into his chest. For a second, she looked pleased with herself. I'm sure she was already forming the story to tell all her friends about how she fought off the home invader. When she tried to pull the golf club back and she couldn't, the expression disappeared. The guy didn't look a little bit hurt, not even phased. The club was stuck in his chest, and the skin around it was rippling. Like when you throw a stone into a pond, water dripped out from where the metal entered skin. Whoa. Mom stared, then she screamed, fell back, scrambling at the floor to get away. The man looked down at the club with the same expression you might look at a dead cockroach. He grasped it right below where its spirit ended to him, yanked it from his chest, held it as he walked towards Mom. She stopped moving the first time he hit her in the head. She just fell like a rock, and he hit her again, and again, and again. And the whole time he was saying, my house, in the same fucking tone. The only fucking way he knew how to speak, and the kids were standing in the door just watching, and the wife was holding them close, and I swear to God she was smiling. Sam stood up, like she was going to charge the guy, but Mike wrapped himself around her and said don't. That we have to run, so we did. Mike and Sam grabbed Jared even though he wasn't moving, and I grabbed the journal without even thinking about it, and I don't really remember anything after that except Sam driving and crying, and Mike screaming, and all I could think about was the way Mom's body looked as she fell. The light disappearing from her eyes before her body hit the floor. We drove right to the police station. Me and Mike decided to go inside while Sam and Isabel watched Jared. The lights were on, but the station was locked with no one inside. We walked around looking through every window. Nothing. When we got back to the car, Jared still wasn't awake and his breathing was all fucked up, so we discussed it and decided to take him to the hospital in Landhart. It's only a 2-hour drive. We should be there soon, it'll be okay. We've been driving for 6 hours now. We're almost out of gas. Jared still isn't awake, and we haven't made it to Landhart yet. We doubled back twice looking for road signs, building lights, anything to tell us where the fuck we are, but there's nothing. No signs, no cities, not even a gas station. We haven't passed another car since we left my house. The rain's falling just as hard out here. Mike says we need to turn around, try to get back to town before we get stranded. Isabella says that's crazy. We need to keep looking for the hospital, and we don't have enough to make it back anyway. Sam says she's going to keep driving. That's all we can do at this point. Jared's dead, and we're out of gas. The car died maybe an hour ago. Jared maybe half an hour after that. No idea where we are. We decided to double back, see if we had passed the hospital again, but there was nothing. Isabel and Mike are going at it, each convinced that this is the other's fault. Sam's ignoring them. She's sitting by Jared holding his hand. She hasn't looked away from him since he stopped breathing. Hasn't said 10 words since we left town. I must have fallen asleep because I had another dream. I knew instantly it was a continuation from before. It was too clear, too substantial to be anything else, and even though I knew it was a dream, I couldn't do anything but watch. I stand ankle deep in a vast clear river. I'm holding the corpse of my daughter. I'm not sure how I recognize her, as taken by the sickness as she is. Her hair has fallen out, her skin is entirely covered in black scabs that hid even her eyes. Flecks of cracked skin fall away as my arms rub against her body. But for some reason, I look at her, I don't feel sorrow. I feel hope. I kneel and place her body into the water. It drips on the surface, then the water engulfs her and makes her a part of it. She becomes the current that takes her, and I know it will sweep her to the sea where she can finally be at peace. But the work isn't done. I turn, way back to shore, where the blackened body of my husband waits. As I do, I became cognizant of the others. The survivors. Each has with them the bodies of their children, families, friends. 18 survivors. Hundreds of bodies. One by one, we take them to the river, until only we remain. I woke up to the sound of Jared evaporating. It took me a moment to realize what was going on. The others were all scrambling around the body, and I couldn't get a good look. All I could see was the steam filling the car. When I pushed my way through, I saw his body was boiling. That's the best way to describe it, bubbles writhing and popping across the surface of his skin. Drops of water leaping off him and burning where they touched us. The shape of him almost completely gone. aside from a vaguely human-looking lump within his clothes and some ridges that might have been facial features. Sam tried to touch the water too. I don't know, stop it, save him, catch him, but the heat of the steam pushed her back. All we could do was watch as Jared fizzled away, until the only thing left of him was vapor and soaked clothing. We decided to leave, or Mike and Sam decided to leave, and Isabel and I realized we didn't have any choice but to follow. I mean, what difference did it make? Stay or go, the outcome would be the same, but I figured trying to find something out there might be better than staying in the car until we all starved to death. We grabbed the flashlight from the glove box and headed out. We couldn't have walked more than a mile before we reached the town. I almost bumped into Mike when he stopped walking after shining the light onto the Welcome to Clearwater sign. He didn't say anything. What could he say? We turned around, starting walking the other way. Not sure how far, 2 miles, 3, we didn't pass the car, but it didn't matter. We ended up back at the sign, the city. Sam turned, walked up the highway into the farmland surrounding it. We followed. We knew it wouldn't work, but we followed anyway. On the other side of the field, we found ourselves back on the highway in front of the sign. Mike insisted he wasn't going back in. No fucking way. He'd rather take the risk out in the rain than spend another second with whatever was in the city. We pointed out that whatever was in the city was pretty clearly outside of it too, and at least the city had food. He wouldn't listen, so we started walking, and 3 minutes later he caught up, didn't say a word. The lights in the town were all on, but there were no people, no cars. A few times I thought I saw movement, but it was always just a branch or piece of trash picked up by the wind. We were on alert the whole time, but nothing happened. We decided to hole up in Dirk's Sporting, because it had guns and was right next to the grocery store. Sam and Mike went and grabbed food while Isabel and I, meaning just I, took stock of the store. When the others came back, we started working out shifts to sleep in. 2 awake at the same time, I volunteered for the first shift even though I felt like I wanted to collapse. I just couldn't stand to dream again. Mike shot himself, and we're a lot more fucked than I first thought. For a while, I was still holding on to the idea of survival, that there was some sort of exit to whatever fucked up situation we found ourselves in. There isn't. I don't think there ever was. This is the only ending I could have hoped for. But if I keep thinking about that, I'm going to go fucking insane, so... Mike, he's dead. We were on shift together when he got up and said he'd be back in a minute. Figured he was just going to the bathroom until I heard the gunshot. I got there about 20 seconds before Sam and Isabel. His body was slumped against a wall, shotgun barrel stuck in his mouth. There was no blood. I thought he'd missed or accidentally discharged it until I saw the hole in the back of his skull. Then I realized there was something splattered on the wall behind him, but it wasn't blood. It was water. Isabel screamed when she saw the body. I heard her gasping and ignored her. Sam knelt next to me, close enough that I could feel her trembling. For a moment, the only noise was her ragged breathing and Isabel's whimpers. Then Sam reached out and ran her fingers along the rim of Mike's skull. She drew them back, stared. A small noise rose from the back of her throat. Her fingertips were coated in water. Before I could react, she thrust more fingers into the wound. Water ran down her hands as she dug through what should have been his brain. Water sloshed in the chalice of his skull. When we lowered his body to rest on the floor, it was water that pooled on the wood. Sam leaped up, ran to the counter, snatched a knife from its sheath, and held it to her arm. We stared at each other. I didn't want her to do it, didn't want to see what would happen. She sliced open her arm, and water spilled from the wound. We stared at the injury, too distracted to notice Isabel calling to us. It wasn't until she ran over and yanked on my sleeve that I remembered she existed. Outside was all she said. Hundreds of people had gathered outside the window. Unmoving silhouettes staring through the darkness filling the street. When lightning flashed, I saw the faces of strangers soaked by the rain. They've been there for 2 hours now. Haven't moved an inch. They're outside every window, every exit. I don't know how long they're willing to wait, but I'm damn sure it's longer than we have. Maybe Mike had the right idea. I need to take a sip of water. Flesh. Sam left and we didn't bother to stop her. She muttered something before she stood and marched out of the door. I remember thinking as I watched her leave that I should do something. I should reach out or call to her or block her exit. But the thought wouldn't make it past my brain. Like there was a wall between my nerves, my body. So I just stared as she stepped into the rain. The silhouettes shifted as soon as she was outside. They opened up to let her through and she vanished into them, into the dark. I don't want to go back. That's what she said before she left. In my dream, I am the storm, and I am screaming. The wind whips at me like razors raking through my body. The frozen rain bites at my skin, except I don't have a body. I don't have skin. The wind is a part of me. The rain is from me. Every second I rip myself apart and reform, rip, and reshape until I'm scattered over miles of storm. Trapped in the royal. Around me I hear the screams of my village. I feel the presence against mine just as much a part of the storm as I. We fight, struggle, but the storm cannot be broken. It hurtles over the land, dragging us in its wake, and then I am falling, rushing to meet the ground. For a moment the earth embraces me. I remember what it felt like to feel the dirt beneath my feet and the sun on my skin and the crisp air in my lungs. Until the storm steals me again, and I'm pulled back into the screams of my comrades. I woke up and Isabel was gone. Just a puddle of water on the floor. I think the rain is speaking to me. I can hear it ever since I woke up. I don't know what it's saying, but the whispers in my ear are getting louder. When I cover my ears, it's still there. If I scream, it rises over the screaming. I'm trying to write just to focus on anything else, but the fucking voice is still there and I know what it wants me to do. It wants me to join it. I'm its child, and it misses me. It can't bear to be apart. What can I do? What can I do? The strangers are still outside watching me, waiting for my choice, because they know what my choice will be, don't they? There's only one way this can end. I can wait and starve, or shoot myself, or slice my wrists, or walk out into the rain. But it's all going to end the same way. The water is eternal. The water will remain no matter how polluted it becomes. At the end, we all become rain. I don't want to go back. Whoa. Whoa, that should be a movie. I think that's a good movie idea. I like that one. Oh, Demon Warrior, thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. These SCPs sure have some deep lore. Thank you for dragging us even deeper into each creature, Shiki. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate the support. It's fun reading with you guys. Wild. Yeah, this should be a movie. This would be a good short film, actually. This makes me want to dive back into the SB rabbit hole. Bro, do it! Go for it. I'm pretty new to all of this. The biggest sad is that they never got to finish their game of D&D. So true. It's sad. I'm getting another fruit roll about. My throat hurts like a bitch right now. I shouldn't have recorded before I started stream. Yummy. Fruit roll up. What kind of fruit roll up? It's like... What's the flavor? It's the... I don't know. I don't know. It's like yellow and green and purple and red. Oh, the Endless IKEA one? Yeah, I've read that one. I believe we've already read that during the first stream. It was like the first or second stream we did. You're making me want fruit roll-ups. That's the same. I slept without my CPAP and that always gives me sore throat in the morning. Man. My throat hurts so bad. Endless IKEA is how I feel every time I visit. I haven't been to an IKEA since I went with Bao a few years ago. It was my first time going. The diary entry? I don't remember. I don't remember. Okay. And then 3280. 3280. Whoa. Whoa. Interesting page. I think you skipped because it was too long, but it's just like this one, a written movie. I see! The SCP about the paper mache puppets that do shows is... Whoa, that sounds scary. I have to check that one out. Sorry, just readjusting my mic arm. 3280. It is a dark and stormy night. You've spent the last several hours hiding in the broom closet with naught but the rank water on the mop sink to sustain you. The chaos has long since died down. It's time to make a break for it. You slowly open the door. Lightning strikes, offering a brief reprieve from the sullen darkness of the site's empty halls. Stepping cautiously over the body of Dr. Cawthron, you do your best to remain silent. There's no way of knowing how it hunts. Best to take every precaution. In the distance, a blood-curdling scream drowns out the rolling thunder. It is mercifully cut short. The steady thrum of raindrops once again takes prominence. At the very least, you're heading in the other direction to the security office. Nichols is sprawled out backwards in his seat in front of the control center, gutted from throat to crotch, spilling viscera onto his lap that drip, drip, drips onto the linoleum. Linoleum. Hard word. You slide his seat aside and enter your credentials into the terminal. SCP-3280. Another flash of lightning out in the hall. Your eyes dart towards the door, paranoid, dreading, anticipating it. Anywhere. File found opening 3280 clearance level 0. Redacted. Due to your clearance level, some information may be withheld or incomplete. SCP-3280 is to remain in place at its point of origin in the defunct Johnston Labs and Pharmaceuticals Research Center, which has been seized by the Foundation. Containment liaisons are in the process of devising long-term containment solutions for 3280. Should 3280 reach the entrance to Sublevel 2, the site will enter a security lockdown, making entrance and egress impossible. Do note that this will also activate Blackout Protocol, ensuring that no hazardous or sensitive information is broadcast from the site. This will be necessary to prevent a full containment breach and failure of third mission protect goals. But of course, despite the repeated assurances that your security upgrade was in the process of being implemented, you're still level 0, and thus effectively worthless as far as Overwatch is concerned. The file, though, was that image even right? You glimpsed the file previously, surely it... No, that can't be right. No time to be worried about something so inane. However, you need to get in. The faint drip, drip, dripping of Nichols reminds you of his presence. Gingerly, you finger about his body, feeling for his security lanyard in the dark. It's wedged beneath him, but you're able to slide it out and detach it from the loop. Thankfully, Nichols was the type of person to scrawl their password on the underside of their clearance card, as you discover upon turning it over in your hands. You approach the terminal with renewed vigor. Welcome to SCPnet Database, Security Clearance Level 2. Accepted excess security footage. This is definitely helpful. You don't want to miss the opportunity to size up whatever it is that is out there. You need to see it with your own eyes. Why? Select the feed you would like to view. 2F Barracks. Let's see. Researcher Jensen has hanged himself with a makeshift noose from a nearby bunk. A lightning flash illuminates a puddle beneath his corpse. You swing. Dr. Emmanuel stumbles listlessly through the darkened hallway. At the sound of thunder outside, he clutches his gut and collapses. 1F entrance. The first floor appears to be flooded. It seems that several people had attempted to break out through the front door, despite the security measures rendering the site inescapable. As they are all face down, you do not recognize the bodies in the... Whoa. That brought back memories. Sublevel 2, a man in an orange jumpsuit lay dead in the corner of the basement. A pipe on the near wall has burst and is steadily leaking onto the concrete floor. Cafeteria. It is difficult to tell how many staff weren't present here. All that remains, aside from errant clothes bobbing about the surface of the water, is pinkish slurry pooling under the windows. It's the same all over the site. The dead and the dying everywhere you look. Whatever caused this, whatever is lurking in these halls, remains to be seen. This isn't getting you anywhere, and it's getting harder to think. Or... accessing file. Due to your clearance level, some information may be withheld or incomplete. Redacted. SCP-3280, Class Euclid. Special containment procedures. 1D class personnel is to be deposited into Sublevel 2 per week through Subterranean Access Point Gamma. They are to be presented with misleading information concerning the nature of 3280 and instructed to progress to the lowest level of the facility. They are to be equipped with a flashlight as well as a security baton for self-defense. An ultrasonic transmitter is to be sewn into their clothing, which will broadcast a frequency capable of drawing 3280 to their location upon accessing the deepest area of the sub-level. This should what? Oh! This should draw SCP-3280 away from the sub-level's entrance to its preference for live prey. Getting harder to keep focus. Failure to contain 3280 in this manner will result in the full lockdown of Site 5. Site in MTF Iota 12, the silencers in Tau 4 Water Everywhere will be immediately dispatched to contain the threat. Should 12 hours pass without Overwatch receiving an all-clear from these teams, all sites are to enact emergency measures in preparation for an imminent X-case scenario. Description: SCP-3280 is a sapient entity composed of a fluid physically identical to water, capable of traveling 2.5 kilometers per hour. Non-anomalous water introduced to 3280 will be incorporated into its mass, and remove samples proved to operate identically. At the time of its discovery, the entity was approximately 66.4 liters in volume. It is currently estimated to be 2,500 liters. The entity is hostile to human life. 3280 will seek out humans within its vicinity, forcing its mass into open orifices. 3280 is also readily absorbed through the pores. The affected experience symptoms such as loss of motor control, weakening of the micturition reflex, visual hallucination, and abdominal pain. Almost as if on cue, you feel a churning in your own stomach. SCP-3280 displays claustrophobic behavior, violently expelling itself from confined spaces or containers. Such as vials or test subject, 3280 will constrict its mass, lashing out in pressurized bursts exceeding 255 MPa, rendering all attempts of physical containment or transportation impossible. When not hunting living prey, 3280 will attempt to exit the underground level it is currently contained within. Thus far, 3280 has been kept away from the sublevel's entrance. It is believed that if 3280 learns that it is sealed within the sublevel, it could instigate a violent response from the entity, irrevocably breaking containment. 3280's escape from the site proper would constitute an XK Clario, since it becomes incorporated into the planet's water cycle. Contingency measures include: the rolling in your stomach becomes unbearable. You recoil backwards away from the monitor. You drunkenly stumble, struggling against the things inside of you. Out into the hallway, the storm outside rages. Torrents of raindrops spatter across the windows. You fall against the wall, face pressed against the cool glass. It is only in those final seconds, as water wells up to your throat and expands, that you notice the raindrops streaking towards your face in defiance of gravity. Whoa. The bodies in the water thing got me. I was like, whoa. Whoa, I remember this. Ah. Wow. 12:30 is about a book that takes you to your own adventure when you're sleeping. Oh, that sounds so nice! This is so cute! Ow. How? 2 more pieces of hidden text? Really? Where would it be? I don't see anything. Yeah. Just one more. I saw it near the end. Confusion. Oh, X-Class end of the world scenario. Oh! Oh, I read it as Clario. I'm so dumb. Have you ever read any of the SCP-1 variations? No, I don't think I've gotten the opportunity yet. Not yet. Whoa. What is this? This is the next one. SCP-2852. Cater. Whoa. Containment of 2852 is to focus on tracking and disruption of incidents where possible and general monitoring of 2852 compatible population centers. All individuals involved in blue level and white level events are to be monitored extensively, and their identities are to be given to local law enforcement as potential terrorist threats. Even when disrupted, individuals involved in blue level and white level events are to be cataloged, and their names are to be sent to local law enforcement agencies. Individuals witnessing the disruption of either events are to be given Class B amnestics. Black level events are to be monitored until conclusion. Afterwards, all participants are to be treated with Class A amnestics and are otherwise treated identically to those affected by other events. Members of Mobile Task Forces Upsilon 36, Upsilon 52, and Upsilon 99 who witness a black level event are to be treated with Class A amnestics upon retirement or transfer and are to be monitored for any signs of antisocial or otherwise uncharacteristic behavior. If found to have been infected by the black level event, operatives are to be amnesticized, suspended from all field operations, and redesignated to low-level, low-intensity work, i.e. maintenance and data input. MTF Y36 party crashers are tasked with responding to any 2852 appearance, Y52 cater duty, and Y99 altar boys are tasked to identify 2852 events and provide backup to MTF Y36 as needed. Y52 and Y99 are to establish presence within communities where 60% of the population is Roman Catholic or Anglican. Any 2852 instance found attached to a different religious group must be reported to a researcher with level 4 out of 2852 clearance immediately. While currently isolated to the North American subcontinent, all SCP-2852 compatible communities are to be monitored for an uncharacteristic rise in juvenile delinquency, sterility, domestic violence, and divorce rates. What? Hold on. Let me make sure my mic is... Okay, there we go. Description. Instances of 2852 have the appearance of a middle-aged white male. Biologically, the cells of 2852 instances are genetically identical and human. However, instances do not have any identifiable organs. Their bodies are made up of fibrous muscular tissue, with the teeth and their hair being made out of chitin, chemically similar to those of the cicada... What? The eyes of 2852 instances, while looking non-anomalous from a distance, are set in the sockets without any nerve connection. While capable of speech despite having no vocal cords or analogous organs, 2852 instances do not show any grasp of language, speaking in a word salad. What? Despite this, all individuals at an SCP-2852 compatible event will perceive the subject as speaking intelligibly and will regard its actions as normal unless briefed of its anomalous properties and beforehand. Individuals describe 2852 as being playful with a crude sense of humor, and all individuals affected in a 2852 event will refer to the subject as Cousin Johnny. While sentient, 2852 instances do not appear sapient. 2852 instances appear at various Catholic and Anglican religious functions and are treated as being an established member of the family. Instances of 2852 are accepted regardless of family resemblance or ethnicity. The entity appears at baptisms, weddings, and funerals referred to as blue level, white level, and black level events, respectively. Currently, no 2852 instance has been found to appear at any other family gathering. All attempts at tracking 2852 instances before and after an event have met with failure. The entities are able to appear at such events as though they had always been there, alternately appearing between frames when under surveillance, or simply evading any attempt by operatives to keep them out of an event. All tracking devices placed on 2852 instances have malfunctioned immediately with the entity evading any surveillance. Each family gathering that 2852 attends results in different behavior from the subject and different effects. Generally, the effects 2852 appearing at a family gathering result in more serious damage done to children. Whoa. Although adults are not free from its effects. It is worth noting that stopping an SCP-2852 instance before it involves itself in the religious ritual will not stop its effects from spreading, although they may be diluted. The appearance of 2852 in an event is enough for its effects to start spreading among the family. When questioned after an event, all affected individuals report a feeling of fondness towards 2852, regardless of its actions during an event. Whoa. Hold on, I need to drink some water before I read this part. Ugh. Oh, my water bottle! Hold on, guys. Okay, there we go. 2852 effects at a blue level event are present more strongly in the child being baptized, its parents, and any godparents chosen for the occasion. During the baptism ritual, 2852 will involve itself directly in the proceedings, acting as a third godparent when traditionally there are only two, a male and a female. Blue level events proceed identically despite the presence of a third godparent until the child is submerged into the water. Immediately, the child's top layer of skin will slow off in one piece as though molting. This process does not seem to harm the child in any meaningful way. The godparents will then eat the skin between each other. Afterwards, the mass will go on as normal. 2852 will exit along with the family. It is of note that 2852 does not appear at any family celebration held after the baptism. The baptized child has a chance of dying within the next 6 months, well above the national average. Living children exhibit multiple cluster B personality disorders. Most join anti-capitalist groups, various GOIs, or if unchecked will engage in destructive behavior, usually manifesting as self-harm, abuse of animals, or abuse of small children. Godparents and biological parents will be rendered sterile, regardless of 2852's success in becoming part of the baptism ritual. Both groups commit suicide within 5 years of a blue level event, normally through drowning. Holy shit. All individuals not involved in the baptism ritual are 500% more likely than the national average to have stillbirths. Those who are still capable of having children are far more likely to abandon them, sometimes allowing the child to die in the process. One couple affected by a blue level event in redacted Ohio gave birth to triplets, which they then tore apart in a Whoa! Whoa. Past adolescence and into adulthood, children exposed to the song of cicadas respond with extreme anxiety and accompanying physical symptoms such as dry mouth, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and headaches. Some subjects agitate escalates into violent outbursts, which have resulted in at least 20 fatalities. When interviewed about the cause of their disturbances, no subjects have ever identified cicada song as a trigger for their episodes. Even in one interview involving level... is that 5? Enhanced interrogation. The subject never indicated the role of cicada song in his attack on redacted parish, which resulted in 18 dead and 10 wounded, including his parents and 3 siblings. They just kind of quirky, that's all. Okay, this is white level. This is like the marriage ceremonies. During the marriage ceremony, 2852 will insert itself as a groomsman, and its most deleterious anomalous effects will only manifest after the vows. After the rings have been exchanged, 2852 will produce various implements that allow the bridesmaids and groomsmen to pull out their teeth one by one. The individuals seem to be oblivious to any pain that would normally take place during such an event, and blood loss through still unknown means does not occur. The bride and groom will be presented with the teeth and will eat them. Damage done to the bride and groom's teeth are extensive, but any blood loss that occurs will not be fatal. The groom will then, in place of vows, vocalize a currently unknown cicada song, which has been known to reach 140 dB, rendering the bride and those on the altar deaf. Currently, no groom has been deafened by his own call. At the wedding reception, 2852 will take the role of the best man and give a speech. This speech, as all vocalizations of 2852, will be nonsensical with no pattern to the words used. Individuals will react to the speech with mixed emotions, some crying uncontrollably and others falling into hysterical laughter. After the speech, 2852 will produce a gift for the married couple. This gift currently has always been 3.5 kilograms of human hair of various colors, 13 deceased specimen of... I don't know what that says. And 23 human teeth in a cardboard box. DNA testing on all gifts has been inconclusive. The bride and groom of a white level event will divorce, on average 2 years after their wedding, usually as the result of domestic violence. Any children produced during their marriage will have cluster B personality disorders or life-threatening disfigurements. All married individuals attending the event will find themselves unable to have children, despite a lack of detectable changes to fertility-related biology. Sperm counts and sperm quality remain unaffected. Ovulation also remains unchanged, and no genetic irregularities have been observed in eggs. The Foundation has arranged a statistically significant number of hysterectomies for guests at white-level events. The surgeries are prescribed and administered by third-party agents in the medical industry. Exhaustive biopsies, chemical analysis, and mechanical inspections of the extracted uteri and ovaries have failed to yield any signs of abnormality. All children involved in white-level event will avoid romantic relationships, and 9 out of 10 commit suicide by the age of 18. Roughly half pull out their teeth until blood completely blocks the airways, and the other bite their own wrists until ensanguinated. Whoa. This is so dark. There's one more. Black level events. Black level events are notable in that any attempt to disrupt the event through any means results in the actor becoming a participant in the event. Currently, there exists no way to stop or end a black level event. Any attempt at barring 2852 instances from the church or a funeral home result in 2852 simply appearing in a pew. During a black level event, 2852 will take the place of the eulogizer, even if one was not scheduled to speak during the mass. The speech, as any vocalization by 2852, will be nonsensical with no patterns being found. However, as the subject speaks, the individual closest to the party will open the casket and produce a long knife. The knives produced during a black level event are not seen before the event and disappear after the event. The individual with these exsanguinate themselves, normally from the wrist, but there have been instances where individuals have slit their throats. In turn, 2 by 2, each attendant will use a knife to pour their blood into the casket. Children too young to exsanguinate themselves are helped by adults. Despite many losing enough blood to result in death, no physical effects are seen in the participants. 2852's speech eventually turns into the song of an adult male. All participants will respond with the same call despite the song of the cicada being limited to the male. 2852 will stand at the pulpit until each individual has bled themselves and then will walk to the casket and vomit a mixture of blood, wood pulp, and dead specimen. Is that like cicadas? It is currently unknown how 2852 instances are able to hold the mixture within themselves due to the lack of any cavity of sufficient size in its body. Once finished, the funeral mass will go on as normal and the casket filled with blood and 2852's vomit will be taken to the cemetery and lowered into the earth as is normal for a Catholic or Anglican funeral service. Black level events normally will end here. If a family gathering was planned to take place after the funeral, 2852 will then, 2852 will, once all individuals affected have come to the location, vomits a similar mixture of blood, wood pulp, and dead cicada into a bowl. This mixture will be primarily eaten by the affected children. After this has been eaten, 2852 will give another speech of nonsensical words without pattern, strip itself, and lay upon a table. The participants then will eat 2852's flesh until there is nothing left. During this, 2852 will still vocalize even when suffering from the mortal injuries. Participants have been known to carry on friendly conversations with 2852 while eating it. Children unable to chew whole food properly will be fed mouth to mouth by any character. I hate this. All participants of a black level event will break from their family either through suicide, moving, or divorce. Every individual involved in an event will be rendered sterile. Domestic violence and participants of black level events will usually be of cannibalistic nature, resulting in the death of one or both individuals. 6 out of 10 children involved will attempt to murder one or both of their parents before they turn 18. It is theorized that nearly a third of Catholic and Anglican D-class were involved in a black level event. For further research regarding related phenomena, please see the database entry for 3004? Whoa! I'm not reading this whole thing. I don't want to read this whole thing. Whoa. I don't want to read the rest. Have you read 1733? I have not. Whoa. There's a lot going on in that last one, yeah. Ugh. Wow. Explain to me how we reformed this one. I don't think you'd be willing to learn how to cook. Oh my god. That was a lot! That was a lot! Whoa. 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 At first I was like, oh, just friendly uncle who shows up to family events, but boy, did that take a turn. Goodness me, I want to go back to the origami dragons, please. No, same. I think I'm gonna head to bed after that one. That was hard to take in. That was, yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. Long story short, Cicada God takes over Christianity, so the foundation is to erase the concept from human history. Holy shit. That made me physically retch. Whoa. That was crazy. I've already read 999. I'm not gonna read it again. I think I'm not eating for a while. I don't know about y'all, I'm still gonna eat. Wow. Well, guys, we have read 6 SCPs today. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to go over, but I think that will be the last one that we read for the day, so I'm gonna move over to the super chat screen. Ugh, because my throat is starting to give out. My throat is starting to give out. So. Let's just chat for a second. And then I'll thank you guys for being members. Since I don't think anyone sent a super chat. Yeah, I don't think anyone sent super chat. So I'll just thank you guys for the member stuff. And then, yeah. Got a favorite one from today's stream? Probably the first one that we read. I think. Probably the first one we read. I think that the rain one was really cool too. I really like the little entry stuff. I think it would be nice to see that as like a short movie. Oh my god, Rainy, I need a hug after that. I'll hug you, Rainy. You have a favorite overalls? My favorite is still the patchwork bear. It just makes me so soft and makes me cry every time I think about it. Alright, let's do this. Let's read. Once again, Payne, thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. I appreciate the support. Parfait Operational Guidebook, thank you so much for joining Kibblebits. Enjoy your acapellas, emotes, and members-only streams. I really appreciate the support. Demon Warrior, thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. I really appreciate the support. And the biggest saddest loser, thank you so much for the super chat. Don't forget to add Rainey's to the list. 6373. Oh, true. That's the one that you were talking about, like the paper mache little performing things. Yeah. Alright, guys. that concludes today's SCP research stream. Those were some doozies. Those were some doozies. We'll make sure to keep going from where we left off today. So hopefully it might be a few more weeks before we do another SCP research stream, as I already have my schedule laid out for next week, and then the week after that, and then I'm going on a break for a week. So yeah. But during that week that I'm not streaming, I have 2 covers and also a highlight video that I think I'll be premiering during the week, so you guys won't be, you know, don't miss me too much, you know? Yeah. Alright, guys. I need to go pray now. Alright, guys. I will see you tomorrow for our SCP creation stream. Alright, guys. Bye now! Oyashiki! Bye-bye! Bye-bye!